Hey everyone, welcome. Today, we are diving deep into a really powerful book by Robin Sharma called The Wealth Money Can't Buy. We're going to break down the core habits for living what he calls your richest life, and spoiler alert, it has almost nothing to do with what's in your bank account. Let's get right into it.
So the book kicks off with his quote from Bob Marley, and it just hits you, right? It immediately forces you to kind of stop and ask yourself, wait, what does it actually mean to be rich? It's a perfect setup, suggesting that the real answer isn't about what we own, but about how we truly live. And this leads us to the central metaphor of the entire book. You know, so many of us are hustling or working so hard, pushing ourselves to get to the top of this mountain. But imagine that feeling of finally getting to the summit. You're exhausted, you look around, and you realize you've been climbing the wrong mountain this whole time.
And that is the first big idea. It's this quiet tragedy that so many people face. They chase society's version of success. You know, the money, the title, the status, only to finally get there and find that the view is, well, it's just empty. There's nothing there for them.
And to really drive this home, Sharma tells this absolutely gut-wrenching story about Eugene O'Kelly, who was the CEO of KPMG. He gets diagnosed with a terminal brain tumor, and in that moment, he realized he'd never even taken his own wife out for a simple lunch. In his last days, his entire goal shifted from closing deals to creating these perfect, simple little moments with the people he loved. I mean, what a heartbreaking lesson on getting your priorities straight before it's way too late.
Okay, so if that's the danger, how do we make sure we're climbing the right mountain? Well, Sharma argues that the whole journey has to start from the inside out. He's convinced that any external wealth or success you have is just a reflection of your internal state.
And that means you have to start by getting really honest with yourself. Are you operating from a victim mindset or a leader mindset? And Sharma is so clear on this. Leadership is not a title. It's the complete opposite of being a victim. It's about taking 100% personal responsibility for your life. No excuses.
So, where do you even begin to lead yourself? First, you've got to understand the subconscious programming that's been running your life on autopilot. And for this, Sharma gives us a really useful framework he calls the Panam model. It stands for the 5 major forces that have shaped who you are today.
First up, P is for parents. Look, whether they meant to or not, our parents or caregivers basically installed our first operating system. Their beliefs about money, about relationships, about the world, all of that became our initial reality. Next is E for environment. This is about where you grew up, the neighborhood you were in, the house you lived in. All of those things create a kind of blueprint for what you believe is possible for yourself.
Then you've got N for nurture. These are all the unique things that have happened to you, the good, the bad, the triumphs, the traumas. How you've dealt with all that stuff is what has built your character and your ability to bounce back.
A is for associations. And man, this one is a big one. The people you hang out with the most are basically a crystal ball for your own future. Their mindsets, their habits, their ambitions, they all rub off on you, for better or worse.
And finally, M is for media. Every single day, we are just bombarded with messages telling us what to want, how to act, what success looks like. And this constant stream, slowly but surely, infects our idea of who we are and what we should be chasing. So, once you understand your own programming, what do? Well, Sharma has this simple, powerful mantra to just cut through all the noise and procrastination. The way to start is to start. That's it. Take one tiny step right now. No more excuses, no more "I'll do it tomorrow." This brings us to a really fundamental kind of wealth, one we often take for granted until it's gone: our health. Sharma makes the case that our physical and mental energy is the absolute engine of a rich life. If you don't have your health, nothing else really matters, does it? And the amazing thing is, we have so much control here. Sharma points to a few key pillars, reminding us to think of food as medicine for our bodies, that you will literally never regret a good workout, and, this is a big one, that our lifestyle choices can actually influence how our genes express themselves. Your genes are not your destiny. Now, here is a super practical tool for the world we live in. Our brains are constantly being hijacked by these easy, cheap dopamine hits from our phones, from TV, from junk food. A dopamine detox, even just for a day or two, can totally reset your brain's reward system. It helps you break free from those things that promise a quick pleasure, but usually just leave you feeling empty. So, we've looked inward, we've focused on our health, and now Sharma says it's time to look outward. Because true richness isn't something you find alone on a mountaintop. It's found in the depth of our connections with our family, our community, and just other people. This quote, wow,
It's the punchline to this incredible story Sharma tells about his mom. She was fed up with a motorcycle gang speeding down her street where her grandkids played, so she just walked out and fearlessly confronted them. And instead of getting angry, this was the leader's response. It's such a powerful reminder that there is a deep well of good in almost everyone.
But okay, what about the people who do hurt us? This is where Sharma offers a pretty radical reframing. He uses this beautiful parable to suggest that sometimes the people who cause us the most pain are actually our greatest teachers. They show up to give us a chance to practice forgiveness and to remember just how strong we really are.
And that brings us to the final, and maybe the most important takeaway of all. All this knowledge, all these ideas, they're completely useless unless we actually do something with them. So, how do we start living our richest life? Not someday, but today. To cut through all the noise, Sharma asks a very simple but incredibly revealing question. Just think about it for a second. If this were it, what would you choose for your very last meal on Earth? The answer, whatever it is, points directly to what brings you simple, genuine, profound joy.
And that leads to the ultimate challenge of the entire book. If you know what that meal is, if you know what brings you that much simple joy, why are you waiting? Why postpone it? The invitation here is so clear. Start eating your last meal today and tomorrow. Start living your richest life right now.